Hello, friends, and welcome into College Football Now. I am your host, Tom Downey. A brand new AP Top 25 is out, plus some breaking news on one major college football head coach with Chris Ash and Rutgers. We'll begin with the AP Top 25. There's a new number one. Alabama has replaced Clemson at the top. They jump over the Tigers after Clemson and didn't look all that great against North Carolina. So there is the new number one. Alabama leads the way. No changes inside 3 through 5. Georgia, Ohio State, LSU. That's the same. So who should be number one? Let us know in the comments section. Should it be Alabama? Should it be Ohio State? Clemson, should they still have that top spot? What about Oklahoma, Georgia, LSU? Let me know in the comments section who you guys think should be the number one team in college football. If we're doing it on resumes, maybe a team like LSU has a stronger case. But we know how the AP polls work. They do recency bias, and of course they focus on, well, how did we have it the previous week? I get why Alabama is now number one. One thing, though, is for sure, it should not be Clemson right now. They're still a good team, but that was not a great showing against UNC. All right, guys, make sure you keep watching. We're going to get to the rest of the top 25 here in just a second. But I've also got my latest Heisman rankings coming up as well, plus the news on Chris Ash, so stay tuned for that. Again, the top 5 here: Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and LSU. The rest of the top 10 here, again, really no changes. Oklahoma, they're number 6. Auburn's number 7. Wisconsin's number 8. Notre Dame is number 9. And Florida checks in at number 10. Texas, they are number 11. Penn State, fresh off a blowout of Maryland, they are number 12. Oregon's number 13. Iowa is number 14. And Washington State checks in at Washington checks in at number 15. Words and stuff are hard sometimes, guys. Now, with that in mind, and that's the top 15, which team is the most overrated inside the top 15 of the AP poll? Let me know in the comments section. You can't pick Michigan anymore. They are not inside the top 15, but let me know in the comments which team you think is the most overrated inside that group of 15. Moving on now, outside the top 15, Boise State, they're number 16. Utah's number 17. UCF is 18. There's Michigan at number 19. And Arizona State, they are number 20. Now, Michigan absolutely beat the pants off of the Scarlet Knights, so much so that Rutgers has now fired head coach Chris Ash just 4 games in to the 2019 season. It's really not that big of a surprise because it was pretty clear that Ash was going to get fired at some point this year. He was 8-32. He regressed last year, shut out in 2 games already in the 2019 season. It was just a matter of time for a program that continues to just be bad overall. Now, Brett McMurphy tweeted this out, that individuals from Rutgers contacted some coaches, including Greg Schiano, of course, Butch Jones, and Jim Leavitt to see, hey, are they interested in the Rutgers job? So keep an eye out for who the Scarlet Knights are going to hire next. I'll tell you who should be at the top of the list, though. Bring back Greg Schiano. He won. Yeah, there's been some stuff since then, but he won with the Scarlet Knights. I say he should be at the top of the list for the Scarlet Knights as they begin yet another head coaching search. All right, the rest of the top 25 now. Oklahoma State, Wake Forest, they are now ranked for the first time this year. Virginia, they slide down a couple of spots after losing to Notre Dame. SMU, they are now ranked for the first time this year. And then 2 teams tied at number 25. Texas A&M and Michigan State, both just technically sneak into the AP. Oh, I guess it's the top 26 this week. We mentioned SMU and Boise State too, and of course UCF. So of those 3, or even somebody else, if you have a different team in mind, maybe Cincinnati? I don't really know who else would be in consideration there, though. Who is the best group of 5 team? Let me know in the comment section. Boise, UCF, SMU, or a different team altogether. Maybe Hawaii? Just throwing out other options there for you. But for me, I'm going to go with Boise. I think Boise makes the most sense here. We'll talk more about them later on. UCF, of course, has earned some respect, but you also lose some of it when you end up losing to Pitt. So just kind of keep that in mind. SMU, by the way, Shane Buechele looks great at quarterback. They're a sleeper option there as your best group of 5 team this year. All right, time now for the teams receiving votes. Cal falls all the way out of the top 25. Memphis, they are next up. App State, Army, Missouri still getting some votes. How about 2 teams with 19 points apiece? That is Baylor and that is Colorado. Minnesota still getting some votes as well with 15. USC has 7. To be quite honest, I don't know who's ranking USC. I don't really know why a team would feel the need to rank USC. But they still have 7 votes, so congrats to the Trojans, I guess, on that front there. Tulane, they have 1 vote, as does Kansas State. The 1 voter still feeling good about the Wildcats in terms of being inside the AP Top 25. So that was your AP Top 25 votes there, folks. Again, today's show brought to you by BetDSI. Get in on the action for college football. Make some money at chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CFB120. It gets you a 120% deposit bonus. What that means is you put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. Plenty of extra betting money just in case you got some picks wrongs and say you thought Nebraska was going to cover the spread, which of course they did not do. They'll keep you covered. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is CFB120. All right, folks, I am Tom Downey. You can follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. Let's get into some Heisman Power Rankings now, as we've got a little bit bigger sample size here. And there's a very intriguing race going on at the top. Number 1, though, for now at least, that is Jalen Hurts, who continues to just put up video game-like numbers and efficiency inside the Lincoln Riley offense. Tua is next up here. He's number 2. Also putting up just stupid numbers. And then Justin Fields checks in at number 3, and it is a very strong race here at the top. Look at the numbers from Hurts and Tua and Fields so far this year. Now, yes, Tua's played 1 more game than Jalen Hurts. Keep that in mind. Hurts has the numbers on the ground. Look at all those touchdowns. The lowest is 17. That's pretty darn insane right there. That's over 4 per game for all of these players. Been very impressive production for all 3. Of course, remember, Heisman trophies are not won in October, let alone September. So we'll see what happens as the season goes on. Number 4 is Jonathan Taylor. He has looked very good this year as the focal point for the Wisconsin offense and continues to be a little bit under the radar. Next up is LSU's Joe Burrow, who has very much impressed me. I've been very impressed by the growth he's shown, the production he's put up. I feel great about these top 5. I think all of these top 5, plus some others we'll get to here in just a second, are among the grouping that have a legitimate chance to win the Heisman Trophy this year. Number 6, Sam Ehlinger. He has carried this Texas offense because they've got all kinds of issues at the running back position in terms of injuries. The loss earlier this year to LSU is a big detriment to his campaign, but he's going to be in the mix. I'll put DeAndre Swift here at 7. It's almost a hybrid of just the Georgia 2 stars, Swift and Jake Fromm. But Swift has impressed me more this year. Frankly, Fromm numbers haven't been that great, although that is the offense that Georgia tends to run. The preseason favorite, number 8, Trevor Lawrence. He has done a little bit more on the ground this year in terms of production, but he has not been the quarterback that we saw last year. It has very much been a sophomore slump for Trevor Lawrence. 18 of 30 for only 206 against an average North Carolina team that is rebuilding under first-year head coach Mac Brown. Only 2 touchdowns with Fields and Lawrence, or with Lawrence struggling, and Justin Fields and Tua and Jalen Hurts putting up big numbers. Lawrence continues to slide down the wrong direction. If he keeps it up, he's not going to be in the top 10 for much longer, folks. Now, if you want more college football coverage, make sure you are subscribed to us here on YouTube, youtube.com/chatsportstv. The link is right there, but of course you're watching right now on YouTube, so just hit the subscribe button. We got you covered all season long, especially once the CFP rankings start coming out. Number 9, Justin Herbert puts up great numbers. His biggest issue, the reality is, we know the Heisman is often built around wins and losses. Herbert sustained a big one early in the year against Auburn. And then number 10, let's give a shout out to Oklahoma State's dynamic young running back, Chuba Hubbard, who has been nothing short of fantastic. Here are the numbers against Kansas State, and frankly, this has been about par for the course this year for Hubbard. 25 carries, 296 yards, and the 1 touchdown. He has been nothing short of fantastic. He is in the discussion alongside Jonathan Taylor right now, I think, of, hey, who's been the most impressive this year? Now, he plays for Oklahoma State. That makes it very tough to actually win the Heisman Trophy, but he at least deserves an honorable mention. Time now for some college football winners and losers from this past week. How about some hope for the quote-unquote outsiders? Clemson was supposed to roll through their schedule, They didn't do that this week. They still won, of course, but a 1-point game against North Carolina that came down to a correct call in terms of going for the 2-point conversion, but a terrible play call in terms of what the Tar Heels ran. 21-20, Clemson, they don't look like the Clemson we're used to seeing this year. They fall from number 1 down a little bit. So here's the question for you guys. Will Clemson make the college football playoff? Let me know in the comments section. I still think they will. I'll make note, in years past, we have seen the scare game for Clemson. I can remember a couple of games against Pitt in particular. This might have been the scare game for Clemson against North Carolina. But here's the thing. They've got to wake up. What happens if Clemson loses on the road to somebody, or loses at home, God forbid? They lose a game somewhere. They don't have a great schedule. The ACC is not good this year. And I know that they passed the eye test. At least they should pass the eye test. But if Clemson loses a game, resume-wise, they might not have a strong case for being inside the top 4. All right, some more winners here. How about the Big Ten East? They continue to just roll through opponents. Ohio State in particular, a 48-7 win over Nebraska. That was too easy for them. Penn State, some thought, hey, on the road against Maryland, maybe upset alert. No, a 59-point win. Michigan, who did not look good against Wisconsin, gets back on track with a blowout win over Rutgers. And now Michigan has another tough test. Number 14, Iowa, at number 19, Michigan, the noon kickoff there. Michigan has not fared well against ranked opponents, but I think it's reasonable to say that Iowa isn't the same team that, say, Wisconsin is. So who do you guys have? Let me know in the comments section. Type M for Michigan, I for Iowa. Who do you have this week? Let me know. At home, and I think that does change things, I'm going to go with M for Michigan this week. Another winner here, how about the Auburn Tigers, as they continue to look pretty good. And Bo Nix has been almost more of a game manager type at quarterback this year for the Tigers. Not so much the case against Mississippi State. 16 of 21, 335 yards, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground in terms of touchdowns. He looked fantastic. I know that Mississippi State's down to like their 3rd string quarterback. That was a big win for Auburn as they get ready for another tough test. All right, some losers here. How about parity? I guess except for the Pac-12. We'll get to them here in a second. But the parity, not great so far for college football. All right, next up, how about some quote-unquote, don't blame me for this, fat, dumb players. Those are among the losers this week. Washington State, after the collapse against UCLA, they looked pretty bad against Utah, losing 38-31. Mike Leach is not happy, called them soft, and also called them fat, dumb, happy, and entitled. Tell us how you really feel, Coach, because I don't think you really laid it out there all that well. We mentioned Auburn here. How about the Bulldogs in general, by the way? Because Mississippi State, of course, they lost. And unfortunately, the poor little guy, look at him. Aww. You got the tweet too, right? Got the tweet for this too? Here's the MSU's Bulldog mom. I love the handle, by the way, in the name. Hey, Bulldog Nation, just want everyone to know I am fine. Headed back out on the field now. Thanks for all the tweets and concerns. We love our fans. So he's okay, but there's a little unfortunate moment there for the Bulldog. Again, through the AP Top 25 here, Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and LSU. Clemson's got to wake up. They cannot continue to just skate through and skate by. If they lose a game and they're trying to skate by on other ones, look, the schedule's not that hard for Clemson. That's the issue, though, too. If they lose a game, well, then what happens? They don't have a very good resume. The resume is over A&M, who's barely in the top 25 right now. All right, 6 through 10 here. Number 7, Auburn. Number 10, Florida. This is must-watch SEC football. I can't wait for this one. Now, Florida's had some quarterback issues, and even in recent years, beyond just this year with Felipe Franks getting hurt, but Kyle Trask has looked okay. Florida's at home, too. Could this be the old home team is favored despite being ranked lower? We'll find out soon. 11 through 15 here. Look, there are 2 Pac-12 teams here, Oregon and Washington. But are the Pac-12 hopes already gone? Is a one-loss Oregon team who blows out everybody, are they going to get in over, say, a one-loss Georgia or a one-loss LSU? I don't think so. I think, once again, the Pac-12, barring some help from other conferences, they're going to be the team left out of the CFP. 16 through 20, as I stumble my word there. Don't sleep on Boise State. They continue to always be, well, Boise State. And their schedule, by the way, folks, is not that difficult. Their toughest games left, Wyoming, Hawaii, and Utah State. Only Utah State in November, by the way, late November, November 23rd, is a road game. Those other matchups, they're all home. This is going to be an 11-win Boise State team, I think. The rest of the top 25 here, I'll remind you of another sleeper here. How about Wake Forest? They already have 4 wins this year. They have Louisville, FSU, NC State, Duke, all at home. Their road games are Virginia Tech, who looks like a mess, Clemson, and Syracuse. They can win 10 games, folks. Someone's got to win games in the ACC, right? Or are they all just going to beat on each other and all win 7 or 6? I don't know, but that's your AP top 25.